Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you are staying safe and sound. I am here today with a lesson on tense. Tense is a very common topic. You know all about the uses of tense as you are in class 12. But still you make a lot of mistakes and errors in using tenses. Today I'll discuss only present simple. Actually, present simple covers a vast area in tense. That's why it needs much discussion. Let's see about the classification of tense first. Look, tense has three classes: past, present, and future. And each of the tense of these three classes has another four kinds, and they are indefinite, continuous. Continuous has another name, that is progressive, and perfect continuous. Now let's discuss about indefinite at first. Not all indefinite, I have already told you. Today we'll discuss about only present simple. Present simple indicates a fact, habit, or a regular action. And we use it in different sentences. In some ways. The first is the base form, as call. Suppose the verbs are call, speak, cut, etc. This type of verbs actually the base form are used as base form in a sentence, and this base form occurs as a finite form in all persons and numbers except third person singular, which has the S form. As you know that the third person singular has some special rules. It follows some special rules because when the subject is third person singular, then the verb takes S form, sometimes ES form, or sometimes IES forms, and you know it. Look at the example. If the subject is I, or you, or we, or they, then the verb will take no S form like the third person singular form. So look at this sentence. If the subject is either of these, either four of these, one of these four, then the sentence will, they call regularly, we call regularly, you call regularly, or I call regularly. But if the subject is third person, what will happen? Look at this. This call will take an S form if the subject is third person singular, such as he calls regularly, or the boy calls regularly, or the man calls regularly, or if you use any proper noun form, either any names such as Rana calls regularly, Sheila calls regularly, like this. Then if the sentence is imperative and the verb will be the beginning, the verb will begin the sentence, like this one, call at once, then it also occurs as non-finite form in the bare infinitive. Look at the sentence structure. He may call tonight. Number 2, the to infinitive, we want her to call. Then the S form, look at this, the S forms calls, speaks, cuts occurs as a finite form in third person singular. He calls every day. Now, if we look at the structure, as we have already done with the first sentence, look at this. They are all subjects. Then comes the verb, and at last there is a word that mentions the time. Here it's regularly. So in all the sentences there are subjects and then the verb and also time. The time will not be in every sentence, but especially for the present simple, there are some words that we call point of time or period of time may be there. Look at this one as structure. Subject, then comes the verb, and then there may be time present or not. Then if we come to the question of time, then we have to follow some words, and that is called adverb of time. There will be mentioning of adverb of time. If there is generally, usually, normally, every day, regularly, daily, usually, occasionally, sometimes, often, today or tonight, this year or this month, like this, then you can be sure about that this tense is actually present simple. And when we use the verbs to be, and for present simple, the to be verbs are am, is, or are. Look at the sentences. I am well. He is genius. You are excellent. They are at home today. Look at verb to have. And in present simple, verb to have has two forms. One is have and another is has. Look at the structure. If the subject is I, we, you, they, then it takes have a lot of works to do, such as they have a lot of works to do, you have a lot of works to do, we have a lot of works to do, and I have a lot of works to do. Then comes the third person singular. He or she or Aisha has much experience. Then there are uses of modals that we call modal auxiliaries in present simple. Can, could, may, might, then must, should, or ought to. Remember that when we use the modals, the verb will be unchanged. We cannot change the main verb, but we can change the uses of modals, not the main verb. Look at the structures of sentences. I can do the work now. We may help you. They must do it yesterday. Actually, it's wrong because we cannot use the modals for the past form, or in past tense we cannot use the modals. And he must did it is a wrong use of modal, because when you are using a modal auxiliary, then you cannot change the base form like this. Look at this. After can, do is not changing. After may, help is not changing. After must, do is here not changing. So after must, you can never, or after a modal auxiliary, you can never change the base form of the verbs. But when comes the passive forms, then you can only change. Otherwise, we cannot change the main verbs after the modal auxiliaries. Now, Modal auxiliaries always take a finite form of verbs. Modals don't show past event. They usually indicate present actions, exception in indirect speech such as he said that he could help me the previous day. Look at this indirect speech. He said that he could help me the previous day. So as there is said, the reporting verb is in the past form. So after that, when there is a modal, it was in the form as can. So instead of can, we have to use could, as the reporting verb is in the past form. So this is the exception of using a modal auxiliary verb. Now look at using finite verbs in making questions. How can I do it now? Do you know the man? Does Rohan attend classes every day? Do you like eating? So if we look here, we'll find that here I have used can. So the main form of the verb is do. Then here is do is the helping verb and know is the main verb. So the main verbs are not changing. Does Rohan attend? So look at does. Rohan is third person singular, so here is does. And the main form of the verb attend is not changing. Now look, do you like eating? So when you are using you subject, then there comes also do. But exception is only for the third person singular number. Then come to the using verb of to be in present simple. Am I tired? Are you happy? Is the boy talent? Now using verb to have. Have you a lot of pens? Or you can make question like this. Do you have a lot of pens? Has the boy a living place? Has Sultana a storybook? Now, when you are making a question with verb to have like this, then verb to have here, do you have? Then verb to have is the main verb here and do is the helping verb here. That's why it is like this. But when you are only using have, then do is not coming here. When you are using have before the subject you, then the structure is like this. And now when we are using negative interrogative forms of the sentence, why don't you do the work? Don't you like tea? Why can't you follow the rules? Aren't you wise? Isn't Rohan well? Can't you kill the enemies? Haven't you a house? Don't you have a house? So all are the forms here finished. Now let's do some exercises. Some of your friends here not agree is in the bracket. So we have to use some of your friends. Look at the subject. The subject is here plural, in the plural form. So, and also it indicates to do the negative form. So some of your friends do not agree with you on certain issues. They, you have to here use to have their own beliefs. So we have to use here they have their own beliefs, but they, there is to be verb. So after they we use instead of to be verb is are. They are few in number. Here at first you have to use a modal. You impose your own beliefs on them. So there is the question mark. So you have to put any of the modal, but it must be suitable for you. So should you impose your own beliefs on them? Then some people, here it's a blank. I haven't given you any verb here. So after finishing reading the sentence, then you can understand what will be the word here. Some people you that they not like what you are doing. So you can here use tell. Some people tell you that they not like, actually it will be they don't like or do not like what you are doing. Again here we have found a modal. You force them to keep silent as you very powerful. So can you force them to keep silent as you are very powerful? Here there will be a question mark here actually. Some people dominate others who have different gender or race or cultural identity. You support them. So there is a question mark. So we have to make it a question. Do you support them? Then another passage is for you to do now. All actually we are doing these two passages only dealing with the present simple. We know how important drinking water is in our life. We know we cannot, as use a modal with not. So we cannot survive. Survive means to live with a struggle. We cannot survive without it. In fact, 2/3 of our body is made up of water. 2/3 of our body, look. So 2/3 of our body, it actually it comes from only a single body. That means it indicates singular form. So it is instead of verb to be, here we have to use only is. 2/3 of our body is made up of water. The other name for water is life. There are crises in our time with regard to access to clean drinking water. So there is a question mark. So we have to use there are crisis. Look, a crisis is the subject here, and we have to use verb to be. As there as a crisis is singular and it indicates third person singular, so it will be is. Is there a crisis in our time with regular to access to clean drinking water? The UN, United Nations, declares, it is United Nations is declares, it's a it's an agency, so you have to use declares drinking water problem as one of the challenges for future. But need we to worry about it as ours? No. Here United Nations, actually United Nations is plural, as there is united. The word is united, so you have to use declare, not declares. But need we to worry about it as ours is a land of rivers and we have plenty of rainfall? So there is another question mark. So we have to use, as need is a base form of verb, it is a main form, and the subject is we, and we have to make the question. So we have to take do. But do we need to worry about it as ours is a land of rivers and we have plenty of rainfall, besides, we have a sea in our backyard too. So, today I'm not going to discuss any of the tense now because the video has become too long for you, dear students. For the next class, I will discuss all other tenses together because as there will be no difficulty with other tenses, only the present tense has the difficulties more. That's why I have discussed a lot about this present simple. So I am taking leave from you. All the best and stay safe and sound, everybody. Thanks.